Welcome to Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. I am your host, Miss D. On this weekly show, you will tune in to discussions of different topics about today's society, culture, and adulthood. Of course, there's always juicy conversation with a little bit of love and plenty of sex. And let's not forget the stories of all relationships and the mess with relationships. Join me every week along with my friends and guests to get your dose and keep it raw on everything and anything. And remember, no topic is off limits. All right, so we're here and let's get started. Welcome back, everyone, to another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk Podcast. I am your host, Misty, and on this week's episode, I have someone who I've been following for well over a year. I think
Wow, that's so crazy. I can't believe it.
On social media.
Time flies.
Yeah. It's been in the back of my mind that I wanted to do this. And so this is the time. I just hit 35.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yes, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yes,
And
awesome.
it's just time for some clarity. I want to say it like that, for some clarity. So ladies and gentlemen, you guys have with me here probably one of my most interesting guests. No shade to my other guests, because all my other guests are amazing, but I'll tell you why she's so interesting. Because she's about to read me, and not in a negative way, not for filth.
Right, not for Phil, not a drag.
Not at all. I would like to introduce you guys to Starr. Welcome, Starr, to my show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be doing a live reading. This is the first time I've ever done this kind of like exchange, so it's really exciting and I'm grateful.
Yeah, so by reading, we're talking about tarot card reading.
Yes,
that's what you guys are.
Tarot and oracle cards. I use both.
Okay, all right, okay, there we go. Listen guys, I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and so we're all learning today. As always, my show always begins with a really small touch of an icebreaker. And so
I love icebreakers.
Yes. And so this one, I'm gonna keep it with the theme of, just interesting vibes. And so I am going to give you a color, and I would like to hear from you the first thing you think of with that color. It could be maximum 2 words. Okay,
maximum 2 words.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, I know. The pressure.
It's gonna be a challenge. I'm so wordy. Nope, I'm gonna stick to your rules. Let's stick to it. Let's try this.
All right. Okay. So the first color, purple.
Higher wisdom.
Pink.
That's 3 words. Very loving.
Gold.
Ooh, that's a good one. Gold. What's the first thing? Very royal.
Black.
Very protective.
Teal.
Very pretty.
I like that. Yellow.
Very vibrant.
Ooh. Red.
Very intense.
Orange.
Very centered.
Burgundy.
Ooh, very intriguing.
Okay. Ooh, okay. That was probably one of like the easiest icebreakers.
So
that was, but right. So these days I've been very big on colors because, and again, my listeners know this. I favor wearing the color black a lot, right? I love the color black.
Yes, I love black. Yes,
I do. But I've been trying to have a touch of color here and there. I've been trying, whether it's something as small as eyeshadow or something as small as a lipstick or a scarf or my nails, anything. I've been trying to put a touch of color. And I've been reading up a lot about it, and it has a lot to do with energy and what you are calling on with your colors, right? So I kind of wanted to just see where your headspace was with these colors.
Okay. And that's what's like, this is interesting. And speaking of black, it's so interesting that you said that like you gravitate towards it. I think with any colors, naturally we'll find ourselves if we just look around, whether it's like in our closets or just our home space, we'll start to see that we gravitate towards specific colors naturally, almost subconsciously. So colors are definitely very therapeutic and very spiritual in a sense also, because it's like going back to self and your intuition and just some sort of nudge, like a calling towards it. But as far as black goes, black is definitely one of my favorites. I have on now, I don't know if you can see it, but it's black kyanite, a crystal, and I usually wear black kyanite or black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is really my favorite. Some people say tourmaline, tomato kind of thing, but that's literally my favorite stone to wear. I think it's important in general if you're just a sensitive person, even if you're not doing any type of like work around exchanging energy with people, we still exchange energy regardless. So I like to think of it as like a barrier of keeping me here and then other people's energy, not necessarily away, but being able to know which energy is mine, where I end and someone else begins, kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to officially take this as a sign. And I'm going to tell you why. Yeah, I don't know if you saw how
Okay.
I reacted when you said
Yeah.
kyanite. Maybe
Right.
like 2 weeks ago, I had tuned into an IG live from someone by the name of Melanie Santos. I don't know if you've heard of her. I could definitely forward you her
No.
IG.
Yes, please
Yeah,
do.
and us followers were asking questions, and someone asked questions about just crystals and all that great
Right.
energetic stuff, and she
Mm.
mentioned kyanite, and it was my
Mm.
first time
Hmm.
really learning about kyanite. And so now I was like,
Okay.
maybe I should get one, because she was like so big on it. Like, she was like, if I could
Yeah.
tell you guys to
Hmm.
get one thing, I would tell you to get this one. And so I'm taking
Yes.
this as a sign that it's probably time for me to get
Yes.
one.
Please get it. And it comes in like this is black kyanite, but I also have blue kyanite that I keep like on my little altar situation with all the rest of my crystals. So that's also another one. And it's a great app out there called Stone. I don't know if it's the same on Android, but I know on iPhone, if you download it, go to the App Store, and I think the icon may look like a crystal, and it's very relative, and it breaks down the meaning of crystals in a very simple way. Like it'll use a reference to like a Beyonce song. So it's something that you can understand it better, and it's easier, I think, for common people who may not be studying it all the time to remember, like, oh yeah, okay, that means this. So it's a great app. So maybe you should download that, check it out, and see what other crystals you might also like or find helpful.
I am definitely going to download it. We all love
I will
Beyonce
send you the link for
references.
that too.
Yes, and
Yes.
we all love Beyonce references here. So this was exactly what I wanted with this icebreaker. I wanted it to be very quick and very genuine from deep within, just like on the spot, a quick response, because I do feel that
Right.
we should be clear. At least I'm learning this for myself. Like when I am the way I wake up, and the first 15 minutes of my day that I choose to meditate
Hmm.
and just to be
Nice.
there within myself. A part of that is I don't want to be so conflicted in, well, what color do I want to wear today? Because I know in all my outfits, the majority of the time I'm going to wear black, but I should know what type of energy I'm in and what type of energy I want to call on.
Right.
So I've been very
Right.
in tune with my colors lately, and just to try and have a better day, just to be in, protecting my
Hmm.
energy, protecting my peace, and
Right.
just really starting to connect with
Very intentional. It sounds like you're being very
very,
intentional, which is
yes.
a huge part of manifesting, which I know we're gonna talk about at some point. But
Yes.
intention is everything.
It's everything,
Everything.
right? I'm learning.
Hmm.
I'm learning here. So we're gonna
Yeah.
dive right into the first segment, and this is as
Okay.
raw as it gets. This is usually where
Yes.
we tackle things that we sometimes see on the news, some controversies,
Hmm.
culture shit, social media, sex, love, relationships, and relationships. And I want to dive into this little culture, right, of
Okay.
spirituality, right, of
Hmm.
tarot card reading, and I
Okay.
want to shine some light on it, and primarily something that I to this day have yet to fully understand in my life: the sun, the moon, and the rising. And so
Oh, okay.
I want to begin with
Yes.
first with you, Star, just wanting to
Mhm.
know, when exactly did you discover your passion for tarot card reading?
Okay. So I'm going to try to make this as compact as possible. So I'm going to actually tie it to my moon sign. So my moon sign is Pisces. Pisces, especially in the moon placement, it's a water sign, so it's very intuitive. So needless to say, I've kind of been very sensitive to energy and being able to see and hear things that maybe other people weren't necessarily seeing or hearing. And I remember being as young as like 8 or 9 and seeing orbs, but not understanding that they were orbs until I got older. Being able to just kind of feel things. Um, so I think it became more evident, not just to like me, but to my family too. When my grandfather passed away, we were very close. He's also a Pisces, so very interesting. Like you'll find that your moon sign, you'll have a lot of connections, deeper connections to people who usually have that sign somewhere in their chart, like a sun placement. So when he passed away, the next day we were like, they don't have the funeral right away in like most circumstances. So I slept in the bed with my grandmother, and there was a light. Like I remember waking up and it was like glitter on me, and I just like brushed it off. You're a kid, so you just kind of hop out the bed, like whatever. And so they said there was a light coming through the wall, like literally through the wall, and it was shining on me. It was gold, like glittery stuff, like coming out of the wall. And they told the priest, and he was like, oh, okay, that's just a sign that, he crossed over and stuff. But pretty much after that, nothing was really the same. Then I remember like a year later or 2 years later, because this is 1999, and I was in the room, and my grandfather used to like drag his feet when he walked, like his house shoes. And I remember hearing it, and I was like, okay, I can't be hearing that. Like, okay, he's obviously passed away, and it's like 2 years later at this point. And then I see like the shadow matching the sound under the door. So I'm like completely freaked out. I'm like, yo, I still remember the feeling of my heart just beating. And I was in the room, the doors closed. So I waited probably, I don't even know how long, it just felt like forever. And I opened the door, ran down the hall into my aunt's room, so ever since then, I feel like it just became normal after that, where if I saw something or sensed something or heard something, I started to become less and less afraid, because I started to be like, oh, okay, like this is a thing. I didn't think it was like, I don't know, like I didn't recognize it as a gift or anything specific. I just became more comfortable with it. So, and I was just always drawn to spiritual things, and I think everything is connected. So it started with me like being into just spirituality and things that you can't see but you can feel. Then I got into numerology really heavy in like 2010. I was like obsessed with numbers. Like I started realizing that's how the universe spoke to me, was through numbers. And then of course it evolved, and sometimes it still is numbers, but I'm able to decipher the language much better, like for the way the signs and stuff speak to me. But it started with numerology, and from numerology, I had always been into astrology. Just I kind of feel like that's a natural thing people gravitate towards as soon as they're into spirituality and stuff. So yeah, it started with numerology. And numerology, the numbers are connected to days and planets and tarot cards. And then I ended up getting into tarot 5 years ago. So yeah, that was such a long answer.
No, that was
But
actually perfect because it painted
yeah, I've been trying
everything.
to,
No,
trying to piece it all together for you.
yes, no, and I think it's important. And to be quite honest with you, it actually makes me even more comfortable. Just to give a quick disclaimer as to why I'm asking, is because while I did not grow up with it directly around me, it was
Mhm.
still around me in
Right,
a very
right.
specific way. I don't want to give the person's name because I want to be respectful,
Mhm.
and because I know some of my listeners do listen know where I come from, know from what hood I'm
Mhm.
from. But very
Mhm.
respectfully, the one person who I was remotely exposed to with spirituality, which let me just say this person, everything she said was true, was right, or came out or happened. And that is why I have respect for it, and I have respect for her. But it was
Mhm.
definitely something that one of the things you said was, I became less fearful of it, and I became more
Mhm.
and more respectful towards it. So when you grow up in New York City and you see botanicas left and right, a lot of people give you this thing of, oh, you're not supposed to go in there. And then it's like, well, no, it's something we could just respect, right? It's spirituality,
Exactly.
it's spirituality. And I'm just very big on the respect of it. So I'm glad that you painted the whole picture, because one of the things that I respect of it is I don't think that's just something that one person just wakes up one day and just says, oh, well, today this is what I'm going to do.
Right. Which has happened over maybe the past, I want to say 2 or 3 years. I started noticing it has become more of a fad almost, where people are literally waking up and like, this is what I'm going to do. So it's really a fine line between just kind of like romanticizing it and really practicing it and just being in it for whatever your reason, whether it's to help people or guide people, advise people, forewarn people, whatever. You're like, I feel like everyone has a different way of channeling. Like, I feel like I do it more so to lead people back to themselves, to understand that they do have this same gift to be able to go inside. And then there's some people, like the person you spoke of, who is able to say, hey, look, watch out for this, that, and the third. So I think that it's great to have more than one person who's doing it, because it's different aspects. Like, she'll be able to guide you in a way that I'm not processing, and I'll be able to guide you in a way that she may not be processing. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely necessary to have multiple people. I just hope that people like really are in it because of that, and not just because it's like cute to have crystals.
Right. Right. I agree. Exactly. Which is why I've never just gone and just purchased crystals, just because. That's exactly why. Because I do
Right.
think it's something to respect, and not just take it just for, oh, let me just decorate this part of my dresser. Like,
Right. Right.
I don't believe in that. You did mention that you attributed your beginning of the beginning passion side of it and interest to your moon sign being Pisces. Can you shine some light, pretend I am a kindergartner trying to understand this.
Oh goodness, a kindergartner. Oh, actually, I do have a great example that I read in an article somewhere.
Okay, so like the
Um,
whole sun, moon, and
yeah.
rising, like let's explain it
Hmm.
to my listeners and to me. How is it that we're
Okay.
supposed to look at this?
Okay. So the sun sign, your sun placement is the typical placement where it's like, I'm like, my birthday is October 22nd, so I'm on the cusp, but technically a Libra. So that's my sun placement. All right. So I'm just going to tell you, my sun is Libra, my moon is Pisces, and my rising is Sagittarius. Okay. So to break it down, think of it as like a book. All right. So your sun sign would be the cover of the book. Okay. And then I'm trying to remember the example because it was really a great example. And then the intro of the book is going to be your rising. The intro, and the first chapter is your moon side. It's like, so it's kind of a simpler way to explain it, but so meaning the cover is what we see, so it's like, you don't really know what the book is about. You just can see this cover. So it's like, okay, Libra, in my Libra expression, in terms of my sun placement, it's like, oh, I can see that you like to dress a unique type of way. You have like your nails done and this typical Libra cover, So then that introduction is like, okay, I'm getting a little more of a feel of the direction of how this person's energy may be going. So it's like that rising sign. That's why some people will meet someone and be like, oh, you don't seem like a such and such. And then they're like, oh, my rising is, oh, that's what you appear to be. So it's so crazy because it can be in different degrees, like 10, 20, 30. I forget the specifics because I'm just not an astrologer, but there's different degrees of signs. So it gets so detailed, I guess you would say. But yeah, so that would be the rising. Then once you get to that chapter, it's your moon, because your moon is your more, I like to think of moon and mother, sensitive, things that you may not expose to everyone, more emotional, and things like that. Whereas the sun is, vibrant, out in the open. The moon is more darkness, things you keep to yourself, fears and stuff like that. So,
So I think I had done it originally the wrong way. When I went to
okay,
like one of these websites to do it to see what my sun, moon, and rising is. Well, obviously I know what my sun is,
okay,
but my moon and my rising. So then I
right,
decided to give it another shot. and
Okay.
I did it, and it asks for my location. It asks for like
Yes.
the time.
Your time of birth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it, and I got for my son Scorpio, because I am a
Okay.
Scorpio.
Right.
My
Mm-hmm.
moon is in Aquarius.
Oh wow. Okay.
And hold on, let me see if I find my, and my rising is in Libra.
Oh yeah. Love it. I love it. I definitely can see each of those, especially your moon being Aquarius. I think that would explain like your passion about respect and just I feel like you're not someone who's looking for a handout at the end of the day, you know? And I think that you can be very passionate about that. And that definitely probably has something to do with that moon in Aquarius. And then also maybe at times a little too prideful to say, hey, I may need a little help, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, the moon sign is where it gets you.
That's
The
right.
moon
That's
sign will
right.
drag you, okay? If you're having a day, don't read anything about your moon sign. You're gonna be like, oh, so you're just gonna show me myself? Like,
Let me tell you
yeah,
something.
I love it.
I felt some type of way when I saw that moon sign.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
two of my previous guests, we kind of had an offline conversation about
Hmm.
Aquarius men. And so when I saw,
Ooh, my dad is an Aquarius girl. And my dog. Both of them.
when I
So
saw
interesting.
when I saw that I'm in Aquarius moon, and I sent it to my two girls, my homegirls, they
Uh-huh.
were like, "Bitch." I was like, "Girl,
Like, whoa, yeah. Oh my goodness. It's that's such a we gotta have that conversation.
we
I don't even want
will."
to get us
No,
too
no, we
off
will.
topic, but we gotta definitely
Yeah,
talk
we
about
will.
that.
And let me just say this: I've had maybe like four. It's it's four
Mm.
Aquarius's men in my life who have I dated. Four.
Wow. See, and you know what that it's the your moon is the part of you, that wants that emotional connection. So that's what's drawing you to them. And another thing that I found very interesting um, is if you check out your artist, if you're able to, because sometimes people don't really disclose their actual age and stuff, so it's a little tricky. But now there's a lot of ways you can like look up an artist and say such and such birth chart, and something may come up. And I found that a lot of the people who I listen to like every day literally have the same moon sign as me.
Wow.
So, and it's so interesting because it's people like SZA, Janae Aiko, Kehlani, Summer Walker. I think just a few of them literally have a Pisces moon, and they sing the type of music that it touches your emotions or your feelings or what you're thinking about. So it's a very interesting connection, even to the music that we choose.
Mm.
And it's someone I forget. I was watching a live SZA with the singing bowls, like the chakra crystal singing bowls. She was explaining how you can actually even go into a song that you tend to gravitate towards. I was like, what's my song? I just want to put it on, like, and listen to it all the time. If you look at the notes, they connect to different chakras, and you could see a pattern in your chakras that you tend to go to be stimulated. So it's just crazy. It's so much that you can be digging for days. That's why I'm forever a student. I'm always learning
See,
something.
now I'm gonna look at all my music. Just for the record, all the artists she
Yeah.
named, they're all on my playlist. Like there's one specific
Yes.
playlist where
Oh,
they're all there. But
right.
now I'm gonna be even more intrigued to look this up and to get to the bottom of it, because the same way I could vibe to Summer Walker and Janae and be all in my feelings, it's the same way you could play me Mary J. Blige or her old school music,
Exactly.
I'm a vibe
Hmm.
with. I feel the same emotion, and it's hard to
Right. It's this
explain.
certain emotion that they're able to touch. And I think it has to do with their moon placement being so sensitive and vulnerable and comfortable digging into the emotions and putting them out into music. And it helps to connect. So I've definitely come up with this theory that Pisces moon placement make great music.
Okay. Okay. I like this. I
It's a
like
little theory of mine. It's just
from
a little theory.
from
I
now on I'm
know.
going to just search for artists with Pisces moon placement, because apparently I listen to all of them.
Right, right. You already listened to them like, what other artists are out here like being able to tug at my feelings like this? This is crazy.
I'm
So
gonna
yeah.
need all artists to start just putting on their albums.
Right, can you please? You know whose moon sign I need to know? Drake.
Oh my God,
I need to know Drake's moon sign
I was just thinking the same
immediately.
thing.
I
I
love
was like, you're
Drake.
gonna say Drake. You're gonna say Poppy's
Yes.
name. That's Poppy. I
I
need to
already know.
know.
I need to know. I really need to know. But he is born in October, and I think that all the greats are born in October.
But he's a
Not just
Scorpio.
saying it about me.
Right. So
Yes.
he is a Scorpio.
But that explains that energy of emotion also. Scorpio is actually like the most in-depth water sign that kind of treads the line between the murky underworld kind of intense vibes and the pleasant Pisces situation, even though they're both water signs. Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty intense.
I
So
knew what I was in for this episode. I have
yes.
my water here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, because I respect spirituality so much. I have even just a tissue here because I'm just ready. I'm just ready for this moment right
You're
now.
just ready.
Yeah, I'm
You're
just
like,
ready.
"Ah, let's get into it.
We're gonna
Yes.
get into it.
Okay.
With what you've already shared, I guess we can say we know where your thoughts are and your stand is when it comes to spirituality. There is definitely a level of, passion for it, of love for it, and of course
Right.
respect
Yes,
for it.
absolutely.
And you guys heard exactly what she said. Please don't just do it just because you're romanticizing it. Please be
Right.
really in tune with yourself. And if this is a passion of yours, service some of us with good
Yeah, it's
intent.
a responsibility,
Right.
because there are people who may literally be relying on your reading or your conversation as like a breaking point, like a last straw. You never know. So I think it's something to definitely, carry with intent and integrity, and to know this person might really need this conversation or this guidance right now. You never know where people are at, in a certain place. So I think it's very important to really not just be like, hey, come on, let me just read you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely a sensitive thing, a
Yeah.
responsible thing. Yeah.
So I just want to say that one last thing. One of the reasons why it's really resonated with me to have this done is I've been through several changes, maybe in the last, not maybe, definitely in the last. No, fuck that. Maybe no. I'm
You're
trying.
like, wait, what?
I'm trying to. I want to be very transparent with this. I want to say since my 32nd birthday, there's been a lot of
Okay.
transitions, and it was a very negative experience for my 32nd birthday. But since then, there's been more positive experiences than negative. But I've definitely taken several transitions in life, whether it's been
Right.
career. My health has definitely been way better these days, although I did
Oh,
gain
clap it up for
yeah,
that.
I did
Yes.
gain back some 8 pounds due to the quarantine, but I'm back on track.
Girl, listen, we are just to say this, I'm going to make you laugh. Please hold that thought. Just a little joke here. So, you ever heard of the dish chicken Florentine?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make chicken Florentine tonight. My fiance's like, chicken quarantine.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yes, he did. So quarantine, the food thing is jacking all of us up.
Chicken
Just to make
quarantine.
you laugh. Chicken quarantine. I
Quarantine.
was like, that's not what I said, but okay.
But we
So
might as
yes,
well make it a thing.
right. We're gonna make it chicken quarantine now. So yes, I'm on the same page with the food weight, it's the productive weight, because sometimes it's like I'm going to eat, but I'm also being productive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
balance,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's
So
all good.
so I gained in the entire quarantine till now, it was 8 pounds, and just in these last 2 weeks of just getting back on track, drinking water, changing up the way I
Right.
eat.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
I was part of this free training Friendsgiving thing with Kate Fit New York with a good friend of mine, Shay, and I've actually lost 3 pounds. So I'm going to
Nice.
continue with my discipline because I want to get back to where I was, that I was able to maintain for a
Mm-hmm.
very long time before those pounds just came on, and then get really back into a routine. So my health is there. It's been great. I had my
That's
physical.
awesome.
Career has been shifting here and there. This podcast show has been has been flourishing, and
Mm-hmm.
different types of relationships have made it or have not. And so
Right.
the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I said, you know what, I think it's time, it's because around my 32nd birthday, I was
Can I
stopped.
ask you
Yeah,
something
yeah,
before you actually do that? Just because it just came to me, so like I feel two things, right? With the number 32, 3 plus 2 is 5. So you could definitely expect a lot of changes. 5 is a number of like change and stuff, and challenge. A lot of challenges come with the number 5 because 4 is stability, getting things structured, and 5 is the challenge of everything that you've already built. It's like, oh, I built this business, but now I'm having these challenges getting things in order, et cetera, et cetera. So I could definitely see that. And then 3 and 2, it's like when you look at numbers in order, it's like the 3 working through the 2. So that could be some sort of change through partnerships and things like that, because 2 is like a number of partnership, harmony, and stuff like that. So with that 3 working through the 2, you could have experienced just a lot of challenges or obstacles in partnerships. It could be love triangles with that 3 energy, just so it's everything is always playing out how it should and when it should, is basically what I'm trying to say. And with you being in a 35 year, 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 is definitely a very abundant energy. So I feel like you could find yourself reaping, what do you call it? Reap what you sow?
Yeah.
Reaping a lot of your good karma and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
During this time.
That's amazing.
Yes, I just wanted to say that before I forgot.
So this just goes ties to what I was going to say, because for my 32nd, I was with someone in a relationship with them where there was several love triangles and I didn't know. I found out.
Is he a Sagittarius?
No.
Oh, because I have Sagittarius.
No, he was not. I had to think about that real quick of when
You're like, wait,
wait, let me think.
Yeah. Right now I'm like,
Yeah. And I was actually around my job, and I think it was lunchtime, and I was with my coworker, my ace, shout out to her. And this lady comes up to me and she just stops me. She grabs my hand. She just grabs it. And I'm like, bitch, like, what the fuck are you doing? So I'm like pulling my hand away from her. She's like, no.
Right.
I have to tell you something. So I'm like, okay. And she's like, I see it. And she's like tapping into my palm. And my ace is like, bitch, you want me to hit it? And I'm like, no. But what the fuck?
Like, are we popping off right now or no?
So she's like, no. Just give me a minute. I see it. And I go, you see what? And she goes, I see the letter J. And I'm like, okay. She goes, and he's tall and he's bald. So now I'm like hard swallowing the last bit of saliva that I have in my throat, because she just took me completely dry. And I go, okay. Right. She goes, this is not good. She goes, this is not good. You have to be careful because there's a baby. And I'm like, what? Right? So I'm like, okay. She lets me go. She just lets go of my hand. She lets me go. Of course, lo and behold, come to find out, it was around my 32nd birthday. Lo and behold, come to find out, there was definitely a baby. His name was with the letter J. He was definitely very, very bald. And so it was at that moment, like, this lady had no way of knowing this shit. But it was at that moment that when that happened, that I'm like, oh, okay, here comes back my respect to spirituality, to even palm readers, to tarot card readers. Here comes back that respect that I knew I always had and I grew up around, even if it was extended. But it definitely came back to me. And so since the 32nd, because that's how I mark it, is around that time that things really took a turn for the worse. Since then, a lot has still happened, more so again for the positive than the negative. But I've just come to a point now where I do feel like I need this. I want this. I'm interested in it for my sanity, for my energy, for my peace. And so that's essentially what we are here for. We're going to go right into the second segment, which is Double or Nothing. And this is
flowing so beautifully. I love this podcast.
Yes. So it's funny because I was so excited into starting this show that I normally name my segment. So of course it is the As Raw as It Gets segment, but I give it an extra name. And so the As Raw as It Gets segment was actually the Wonders of Sun, Moon, and Rising. But we dived right into that. The Double or Nothing, I'm giving it a name, and it's called Read Me. And so Starr, we're keeping it raw. She knows I've been a little nervous about this, but she knows how determined I am to have this done. And we had a very extensive preliminary talk about doing this in real time for this show. We're obviously not live, but to celebrate, and part of the celebration and part of just reflective to my 35th sunrise, it's time for getting the reading. So we're gonna dive right in.
Okay, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Definitely, um, it kind of helps to know that things are always working out first, regardless. So you don't. It's natural to be nervous, of course, but if it soothes you any, I think my form of energy and reception with the cards is always with the intent to guide and help you and guide you back to yourself, guide you to spirit. So it's if that provides any kind of relief,
It
I hope,
does. It does. Thank you.
that's always my pure intention. It's just that. So, all right. So let's see. I have different questions. Well, not necessarily questions. They're going to be the guides for each card. So let me just put this to the side. So we have 16 different cards that we're going to pull. It'll probably end up being a little more. So with my practice, I use tarot and oracle cards.
Mm-hmm.
So tarot cards are, I'm trying to think of the most common way to describe it for like someone who may not be familiar. So tarot cards usually are composed of 78 cards. It's major arcana and minor arcana. But the really cool thing about tarot, which I love about it, is that it's actually a story. And a lot of people don't know that. But so the card, I'm going to see if I can find the first card. So the card starts off with the Fool. The Fool is this figure. I'm going to find the image so you can see it, that goes on this journey. So, like if you open a tarot card deck box before you shuffle it or anything, it's going to be in this specific order. And the order it's in is actually a storyline. The Fool goes on this journey, and along the way, this is the Fool card. So, you see this person's the zero here. So, this Fool goes on this journey, and every card in the deck is people he meets along the way and different stories and meanings. It's literally a story. It's the coolest thing ever. So, for instance, this is the first card, and I think the second card is um, the Magician. Well, technically not the second card because it's like it starts with zero, so it's would be like the number one. Um, but let me just try to find it. I just want to give like like a little backstory just in case
Yeah,
people
yeah,
aren't
yeah,
really
yeah.
familiar. So this is the Magician. You see how it has the number one. So the Fool goes on this journey. Maybe it'll be easier to hold it this way. The Fool goes on this journey, and along the way, he meets this magician who is holding every symbol in the tarot deck, which is the chalice, which is the cup, represents emotions. The pentacle represents earthly things and finances. Swords represent mental, like any mental kind of energy. And the wands are more so action oriented. So he meets this magician, but the magician is here with the infinity sign above his head, letting him know, like, along the way, you have everything that you need. And like the spirits will always be guiding you and making things work magically in your favor along the way. And then he keeps going and going. And then, for example, the second person that he meets is the high priestess. So you see the card number two up
Mm-hmm.
here, Roman numeral two. So he meets this magician guy, then he meets the high priestess, which brings you to intuition and the two pillars here. And you'll see the moon is here connecting, letting you know about your emotions and stuff. So it's so cool how all of these cards have significance because they
Absolutely.
represent a whole story, this journey, which we're all on these journeys. So that's the cool part. Just to kind of give a backstory of like tarot. And then with oracle cards are much more simple. They come in different variations. For instance, like I have a oracle card deck, which is crystals. And they're all different crystals, and they usually come with meanings to them and like a guidebook. A lot of them have a guidebook where you can get an extended definition or meaning of the card that you pull. So that's the difference between tarot
And
and oracle.
Oracle. This makes
Tarot is
way more
standard.
sense now to me because
Yeah.
I've seen the two, but I've never really
Mhm.
understood like first of all, I had no idea what the tarot it was an actual story, right?
It's
So
a lot of people don't know
so
that.
that makes
It's
sense now.
actually a story.
That's beautiful. All
Yeah,
right,
that's
y'all.
why I love it. It's so cool.
All
Yeah.
right.
So just a little backstory. So I
Okay.
like to use a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of oracle cards, especially. So the way, just a little more backstory about me. So I think there's people who read different kinds of ways. I feel like I'm more intuition based. Honestly, for like the first 3 or 4 years of me reading, I would go strictly off of intuition.
Right.
Only in the past 2.5 years, 2 years, have I started to formally study, like actually get textbooks and learn the backstory of tarot and different, like almost like a formal college kind of version
Yeah.
of learning versus just going off of my intuition. So for the most part, that's why I think I've always liked oracle cards too, because I kind of just like to follow whatever nudge that I get versus like with the tarot. Of course, there's different ways everyone interprets them, but I like to look at the cards and just feel what I need to be saying versus, okay, this card means, you know what I'm saying? So that's also just a little backstory about like how
Beautiful. I love it.
that. Okay. All right. So, with most of my readings, before we jump into the actual questions, I like to use this yoga deck that I got recently. So, it has like little poses and stuff. But the cool thing about this is the way that I use it. I like to shuffle it up, and whichever card I get, I'll look at the imagery and then see what it connects to. So, we're just going to pull one for you. And your birthday is November
18.
18th. Okay. All right. I was like, wait, remind me again. Okay. Oh, okay. That popped out. I don't know if you were able to see. So
Yep.
when cards, they'll literally pop out. That spirit, like this is it. All right. So we have this here, and it says corpse. All right. So to me, this is maybe you could not be sleeping well or having trouble sleeping, restlessness, uneasy thinking and thoughts. Especially interesting that this pose is called corpse. Maybe just needing to let some things die and let some things go, because that extra weight, almost to say, can manifest as physical weight or just feeling that heaviness that will keep you up at night and just having you not feeling as lively as you normally would. Okay, so I'll give you a little yoga tip here, but that's just my opening uh, reading or intuition that I pull. And to just remember to follow the path of least resistance. I feel like I'm getting resistance. I don't know if you're resisting some sort of change or resisting letting something that's out of your control play out naturally, but definitely don't resist whatever it is that you may be resisting. I think spirit definitely wants you to not resist and to learn to surrender. Surrender completely. Like, it's not I'm surrendering halfway. You either are or you aren't, kind of thing. Okay, so this pose is called Shavasana here, and it's directions. It tells you to lie flat on your back, keep your legs a foot apart. If the small of your back is not flat on the floor, place a rolled blanket under your knees. Keep your arms by your side, palms up, which is really good for receiving and manifesting, because you then are able to surrender. As above, so below. One of the she's not a tarot reader, she's like a priestess who I watched some of her YouTubes, and she made an excellent point the other day about one of the laws of the universe, which is as above, so below. A lot of people have heard that, so it's not, something that's too foreign, but the importance of sending things up so that they come back down. And I think this reminds me of that, like having the hands up is to say, like, hey, I'm ready to receive, I'm also ready to release at the same time, kind of thing. All right, so close your eyes, breathe deeply, and relax. Super simple, as you can see from the energy and imagery. So this would be a good thing maybe you can add into your meditations. Maybe start it that way with intention. Okay, so it's also an affirmation that says, my body is rested, my mind is calm, my heart is at peace, my spirit soars. So you could find yourself not feeling those things, or when you're not feeling that way, this would be a great affirmation to kind of get you back on track. All right.
Oh, Spirit is talking to me.
So that's just like a little opener. Okay. So let me get my questions pulled up here.
Yes.
All
Here we
right.
go. Oh boy.
Okay. So the first one is the magic that you bring to the world. So this will be what you pretty much put out into the world in a beneficial way, like your bit of magic. You know how sometimes people need to call someone because it's like, I'm gonna call Daisy because I know she listens, or you know what I'm saying. So this card will represent that. So we're just gonna shuffle them up. And also, tarot is, some people read the oracle cards in reverse. I don't, because I feel like you can pick up on it energetically if it's reversed or not, which is usually the upside down meaning or the opposite meaning, in a sense, which sometimes it could be more favorable than a card being upright. But these cards, tarot cards, I do like to read them up, straight up, and reverse.
Okay.
So just
beautiful.
But you'll see with the other cards, I don't do it that way, but just a little backstory too in the difference between like tarot and oracle. All right. I'm going to do one more shuffle. Miss Daisy. All right. So interesting. We have the Three of Swords upright. Okay. So to me, this is energetically, I would say you may have the type of energy where you can attract people who either need to heal or need love. And it can be a fine line between the two. So like that nurturing, being able to understand what somebody is feeling and thinking at the same time, but just being mindful. Like the Kyanite, where they end and you begin. Because although that healing and nurturing is your gift and your magic, you want to make sure that you also protect yourself. But I definitely feel like it's that energy of being able to attract people who need healing and then people who need love. And sometimes it's hard to decipher which one it is, especially in like love and romantic relationships. Okay. So let's see. You're like
I'm not gonna say much. You guys are not gonna, this is gonna be a full reading. You guys are gonna be
okay.
paying attention with me.
Yes. So the next one is, okay, that's it. How to best embrace your magic. We have the Two of Swords in reverse. Okay, so again, more swords energy, which is very interesting. So the best way to embrace your magic is to not deny it. Very simple. Not to pretend that you don't see or feel things, because you're most likely are seeing and feeling the truth. So don't try to pretend or psych yourself out that that's not the case. So that's the best way that you can embrace your magic, is to simply not deny its existence. Okay. And then the next one, which is one of my favorite questions, is a message from your inner child. So you know how we have, I just got the chills because it's such a deep thing, when we start to go into like inner child stuff, which I definitely recommend for like everyone to do if they get a chance. But let's see what your inner child has to say. Little Daisy. Let's see.
She's known to some as Daisita, so.
Oh, and look at that.
Oh,
okay, that already fell out. And the interesting thing about this is the Page of Pentacles. The page is a youth energy. So this to me gives confirmation that it is speaking on your inner child, because the page is not a knight, it's not a king, it's a young boy. So, or a young masculine energy, rather, like not, doesn't have a boy or girl, or any gender, but you know what I mean. So the Page of Pentacles, right, in reverse. So intuitively, with this saying, your inner child, you may have at some point suppressed your desires that you may have had once as a child. And I feel like it's saying, like, you don't have to put those things down, like push them down. I feel like maybe some sort of burying desire, or like something maybe you wanted to manifest, or something you believed in. Like if you believed in hope and love and things like that, as a kid, like, don't let the experiences change you into pushing it down, but still hold that regard for all those things, because you can have those things. You can still manifest them. That it's not too late or none of that. But definitely, I think just a huge emphasis on not pushing things back or even denying certain experiences. Maybe you would need to revisit something that was traumatic or just affected you. Revisit it, allow it to exist in that moment, and then, like the pose that we got before, and then just release that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it weigh you down too much. And then the next one is self-love, and it's what you need to know and face and simply appreciate. Okay. Let's see. Here. Shuffle. All right. I love it. Look what came up. And we just talked about this at the beginning and like literally use this as an example. Okay, so find the beauty in all of your beginnings, finding appreciate your drive to just always be willing to start or start over or let things be new, to honor that energy about yourself, to honor your courageousness, to honor your fearlessness, to honor putting things out into the universe, that is a gift and something you should love about yourself. And so interesting that this card came after this one, because remember I was saying put it up, and both of these are like confident. Don't push your confidence down. I feel like your inner child is also carrying over into this, because this is the Fool. The Fool doesn't mean like foolishness, but free, fearless, as you would if you were a child still.
Right.
So to get that energy back and don't have that suppressed, because that is something to love about you.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Yes, you're welcome. And the next one is Lovers from the Past.
Oh, shit.
Okay. So this will be 2 cards.
Oh, shit.
All right. So it's what happened there. Okay. Plus what you needed to learn. Okay. From that experience.
A whole card just fell out.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
And what a card. Okay. I hear you, Spirit. I hear you.
Spirit is talking today.
Woo! All right. Wow. I love this. Okay. So we have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. So I don't know if you can really decipher, but I'm going to flip it the other way just so you can see the imagery. So you see this is somebody who like left you out in the cold. Okay. So you see like the struggle energy. You can almost feel the energy in the card when you look at it. So just really being left out in the cold, not being valued, not being considerate of cause and effect, like changes in, it could be jobs, residence, finances, maybe not being completely transparent financially, and that somehow having an impact, especially if you decided you wanted to help them in some way, and just not having any appreciation for that energy that you were willing to give. Okay. But definitely just a huge emphasis, again, like left out in the cold. I feel like just that type of vibe. Okay, so what you needed to learn, the Knight of Wands came up. So we have some mountains here in the back. I don't know if you can see it, or I don't know if you call them like mountains or pyramids or whatever, but so definitely feel like you needed to learn that you can overcome things. Like it's not the end of the world. You did actually make it through. You healed, etc. But with the night is like a messenger. I like to think when I see that. So, and it's the wands. Wands are fire energy. So that's like Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. Okay. So it could literally be around that, or earth sign. So the person you dated could have been a fire sign or an earth sign, which is also Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn, or it could be fire, and that could be sun, moon, or rising. Okay, or even Venus, because we're talking about like love. So that could be one of their placements. But going back to what I was saying about the night, I think this is learning to, it taught you not to be so quick to run to the rescue or to try to like, you know, bear something or be the messenger or bearer of news or enlightenment or whatever, like just that pacing yourself. You know, I feel like it has a lot to do with pace, is what I think that you were able to take from that, even if it's just slowing down and assessing the kind of person you're with.
Mm.
You know, just like I think that wanted to show you that.
Okay.
So I just feel like something about pace, like pacing.
Okay.
Okay. And then future lovers. Okay, so this one is asking, should you look for someone new, for someone coming, or if you're already dating? I see one of those cards wants to pop out. Let's see. All right, let's see. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. All right. So we have the Two of Wands in reverse. Okay, so with this being in reverse, which is, you see, if this was here, they're kind of like willing to go out into this new world. But I do feel there may be a little bit of resistance. And especially with this other staff being back here, it's kind of like it could be hoping that someone from the past does circle back around, maybe in better condition or as a better person, or just kind of the face for me. I wish you guys could see Daisy. I'm loving this. I'm so loving it. But yes, so definitely just this resistance of wanting and knowing, maybe considering your face a particular person that you would prefer, you know, to maybe come in. So I definitely don't feel like dating necessarily is anywhere on the horizon. It's more so like a waiting kind of vibe.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And then we have the Justice card. Okay, so I feel like in terms of like, if someone does come around, you want them to be fair, balanced, honest, even much more committed, maybe even committing legally via marriage or whatever system you would believe in. Could be a Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, also, or have a lot of Libra energy, which would also match your Libra rising. So yeah, just really this need for balance and reciprocation, fairness, loyalty, like that type of love. Okay. Like not no games.
No,
Definitely no games. I don't
none.
think anyone wants games, but I think that you're very sure and certain. And even here with this card, you see the two almost like here, just that imbalance. So that resistance definitely has something to do with the imbalance and just hoping again that the other person does come around in just like a better condition. Okay. So the next card is what you need to keep in mind in regards to love. So just a little advice from Spirit.
This is
Okay.
the one. This is the one.
You said this is the one.
This is the one.
Okay, Spirit, come on, you guys talk it to the stars.
I'm letting Spirit read me in every way, shape, or form. I am.
So let's see. All right, Spirit. What does Daisy need to keep in mind? In mind and in heart. Oh,
Ooh.
okay. Wow. The Chariot. So anytime we get something from the major arcana, which is the cards that have like the Chariot versus a card that's just like a numerical, it's an even stronger message. Okay. So with the Chariot, I feel like, and this is number 7, use your intuition. Use your intuition, discernment, intuition, choosing your direction wisely, not being strung along, but actually choosing the direction that you want to go in and choosing to go off of your intuition because you do know.
Oh.
Okay. And then the next one is, what energies are you giving out? And the one after that is, what energy are you receiving? So I'm going to pull those at the same time. So that's your yin and yang there. So the energy you're giving out and the energy you are receiving. So I see a card wanted to jump out. Let's see if that actually comes out. Okay. Hmm. This is very interesting. So the energy you're giving out is the Page of Wands. Okay. The energy you're receiving is the Hermit. What's so interesting is, look at this, the imagery is very similar. So what I feel like, the energy that you may be giving out is a hesitancy, like you want to start one foot in, one foot out kind of vibe. That may be what you're getting, and giving, and in return what you're getting may be people who, or a person who wants to go into self more, turning, not shining the light on you and the issues between us, but almost like deflecting, maybe, especially with the different directions, almost as if you would have to chase this person, and it's like a chaser and runner, that whole what do you call that? It's narcissist and something else. I forget what it is, but it's like the chaser and runner energy. Why is it escaping me? It'll come up in the other love cards, which I'm about to actually pull. But it'll come to me. It's like a psychological term for it.
Okay.
But it's like the chaser and runner, which I feel like is, one is afraid of abandonment and the other one is afraid of commitment. This interchanging energy. That could be what you're giving and receiving. And it could be working both ways. Sometimes you could be that person and sometimes they could be that person. But since it's something that flows together, you would just be merry-go-rounding both joints.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, my.
Okay, so we're just going to pull from this little love deck, just some extra cards, just because.
Yeah,
Okay, so, all right, one of those flipped out, so we already know. All right, Spirit. Okay, so I said wow because date came out.
Oh.
And it says meeting someone new, dating, get back out there, plan or set a date. I feel like it's break the cycle. Welcome new love, welcome new energy. Okay. And what's so crazy, the other card is camera. Camera says reminiscing, keepsake, perception, learn from the past, make memories. Learn from the past and go forward. And if that other person is meant to come back around, they'll make their way back around. But I think right now is definitely just embracing newness, getting back out there just to get a feel for a reminder, because I think you're one way when you're by yourself. And then when you start to date, you're like, oh, I forgot I could be flirtatious. I forgot I could be sexy. I forgot I could be, different things start to come out. So even if it's just for the reminder of who you are, definitely think Spirit is telling you to learn from the past and practice. Practice. Think is like the word.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then actually, I'm going to pull two more love cards from this other deck.
Okay.
Just to clarify the date card and camera. And that could also be too. I feel like Spirit just wants me to say this. I feel like once you start dating, any person who was being standoffish is going to start keeping an eye on you, whether it's from a distance or watching your social media or just, oh my goodness, how do you explain? When somebody is like just checking for you all of a sudden, I feel like that could also be that type of energy that could come out of that too.
Which is why I'm definitely hearing Spirit say the breaking of the cycle. I'm definitely hearing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's clarify the date card and the camera card for Daisy.
I just want y'all to know I'm holding on to my chest. That's it. That's what I've been doing.
Wow. Look at this. For the date card, look what came up to clarify it. Calling in your soulmate. It says your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So definitely feel like there's emphasis on calling in your soulmate.
Okay.
For sure. All right. And to clarify the camera card, interesting, the religious factors card came up. So it says, your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. This, what I would take from that, and I just literally got the chills, your spiritual path towards enlightenment or whatever your intention is behind it, there are going to be certain energies that you just can't mix with anymore. And so if there's any resistance, and that's also the Hermit card is going into self too. So even if we interchange the roles of these cards, the need for you to go into yourself and your spiritual path will have you seeing things differently and seeing people differently, and certain people you just won't be able to be in the same rooms, you know, kind of thing. And definitely choosing, like I said, if we switch these two cards around and this were to represent the other person's energy, because I believe energy is, you know, interchangeable, that page is that immaturity, the hesitancy to take action with those wands. Like, it's one thing to talk about it, but then you're not being about it. Kind of energy could definitely be why Spirit is saying date into calling your soulmate, someone on your level, okay, and on your level of healing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I definitely think that that's like a strong message for you. Okay, so then the next card is, where are you putting too much energy right now? This is always a drag. Sometimes I have to ask myself this. Yeah.
Because
Spirit will be like, because you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I've been trying to, first of all, I'm just taking a deep breath right now, because when I tell you
Yes.
everything that Spirit has been saying, just like I'm shaking as I'm speaking.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear all your feedback. I really can't. And feel free to totally, I have the list of the questions. So if you want to jump in, oh, there we go.
There it goes. No, it's speaking to me.
You see how the cards will do that?
Yeah.
It's so crazy. All right. This is always, I love the cards. So the Knight of Cups is coming up. So I feel like you could be putting too much focus on what you have to offer, what you can put out emotionally. And you have to remember, okay, I saw this post on the Instagram page, We're Not Really Strangers, and it says, I hope you like them too. And I resonated with that, even because it was like, you get so wrapped up in, well, do you like them? You know what I'm saying? Like, remembering that you deserve that night in that cup, that proposal too. Like, what are they gonna, you know, reciprocation? Okay, and just knowing, like, don't worry, or not worry, but don't put too much focus on, or no, the way I'm gonna say it is, put equal amounts of focus on what they are able to offer you, so you're not being too hard on yourself. And then the next one is, where do you need to put more energy? Okay. Oh,
there it goes.
Popping. You see, they are just flying out. Yep. I love it. Like, here you go. All right. Ace of Swords. Stop blocking your own blessings.
Oh.
You need to stop blocking your own blessings. Spirit wants to give you ideas. It wants to communicate. This is air. This represents Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, the swords. Like, I feel like if you have like an ancestor who already passed on, or somebody you pray to or think about often, there could also be a block in you hearing them. Like, don't block your own blessings. Be more receptive. Put more energy into receiving. And like, remember that as above, so below. So remember to send things up so they could come back down. Don't worry too much about just sending it up. Also know, like, hey, that's going to come back down for me. If you unblock that, I think you will come up with some sort of like really good idea that could bring you abundance in this 8 year, that 35, like I was saying. Just being able to be open, like not blocking your blessings. I feel like that's just what it's saying, you know? Okay. And so this is actually going to be the cool part. We're going to do a message from your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. All right. So I want to pull, I'm going to use oracle cards for this part. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I know you like crystals.
Yes.
So we're going to use the crystal
deck
for that. This is one of my favorite decks too. It's very soothing. Like, just inspiring and stuff. So, all right, this is for Daisy, November 18th. Here we just need a message from the sun, moon, and rising. You see it, right? That's why they will fly out. They will fly right on out. So your sun sign, this is, you ready? You ready to just walk away from the screen? You can push your chair out now if you want a little preparation.
Hold on. Let me get ready. Hold on. Okay. Let me just, I'm gonna sit right up. Okay.
And this was the card that flew out.
I saw it.
The message from your sun sign, allow yourself to receive.
Jesus.
Allow yourself to receive. So I'm going to, remember I was telling you like the oracle cards, they come with little booklets that give extended meanings.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to actually see what the book has to say, because that is very timely.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. This crystal is called cryophase.
Mm-hmm.
Cryophase. You see it here? I've never seen this one before, but all right. So it says, allow yourself to receive. It can sometimes be easier to give than to receive, but receiving help from others is a necessary component of a healthy lifestyle. Open up to receiving as much as you give. Didn't we just say that?
Yeah.
Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. There has to be a balance between give and take in all of your relationships, whether it's with friends, family, or coworkers. If you notice yourself feeling guilty or uneasy when others give to you, shift your attitude so you can embrace what they have to offer you. And there's some core questions that comes with it. It says, where do you give more than you receive? What feelings cause you to do so? And what shifts can you make to create more balance in your relationships? And the affirmation is, I allow myself to receive. So today, say thank you without hesitation or deflection to all compliments that come your way. This is so crazy because remember I was saying about balance, reciprocation, give and take. This card really just kind of summed it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Very interestingly.
Yeah.
So definitely a message. Okay. From your moon sign, it's practice patience. Okay, this is the Lemurian quartz. Pretty card, pretty crystal. All right, so let's see what the practicing patience has to say. All right, so this one says, slow down. There's no need to hurry or rush through life. There's enough time for you to do everything that you need to do. Learn to quiet the restless parts of yourself and take life one step at a time. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. Make sure you spend your precious time on things that matter most. Patience is not something you acquire once and never have to think of again. It is a practice, one that must be consciously drawn upon even when your poise is tested. Go with the pace of nature and trust that everything will happen in due course. A little mindful patience makes the everyday more enjoyable so that you can appreciate life's natural pauses. So the question that you can ask yourself is, what people or situations test your patience, and how can you be more patient in your everyday life? So this in the moon placement, I definitely feel like it's also practicing patience with yourself too. And, you know, being really considerate of your own healing and you needing to take whatever time you need to take if whether it's getting clarity or becoming more clear, whatever it is, that it's okay to take your time, because everything will always pan out in divine order. It's already written. It's all good.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
Okay. And from your rising, we have tourmalinated quartz. Ready to push the chair again?
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
What?
Get out of your own way. Did we not just...
Yeah.
That speaks for itself. That is, wow.
Yeah.
I'm still reading from the book, but then I say it's like sometimes spirit will be like, okay, bam, bam, bam. If I wasn't clear before, let me make sure you leave and you know. Between the allow yourself to receive and the get out of your own way, such a huge message that's definitely interconnected. Quartz. It says the path is clear to your success. All you need to do is claim it. You are the sole owner and operator of your personal journey. Shed any thoughts of self-doubt, which can lead to derailment. You are entitled to live your best life. Also with your inner child was saying in that message. You are entitled to live your best life. Don't relinquish your power by giving into negative thoughts or trying to avoid or deflect responsibility. Confront any obstacles that emerge and consciously seek out solutions. Success is yours. Take control, take ownership, and take heart. You will take command of your own destiny. So the core, or your own destiny. The core questions are: have you been blaming others, complaining, or making excuses? Where have you avoided taking ownership of your life? The affirmation is: I get out of my own way, allowing my success to come to me. And then the next one is a message from your ancestors. And then we have a bonus one that we'll add.
Oh.
So this would be formally the last question, but let's see. So message from your ancestors. We're going to use this Oracle deck.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite tarot readers, Marcella Kroll. And she makes, I think she has like 3 different versions of this one. But I like it. I feel like the intention that people put into making their decks often comes out when you use them. And I think this deck has always been like just really fluid and like non-judgmental almost, if that makes any sense. So I really enjoy this deck. So let's use this one to get a message from your ancestors, or just any beings of the light that have already crossed over and just have any type of insight or advice for you. That'll be the intention. Okay. All right. First and foremost, you're definitely protected. So know that all around you, like you can see yourself as this. Like I feel like you have more than one angel or guide that's connected to you and protecting you at all times. Definitely continue your meditation. I think that's a message too. And that goes back to, remember I was saying there might be someone who wants to communicate with you that already passed on. Maybe they're saying like in your meditations or in a better state of being, you can maybe access the information in dreams or something. But I definitely think that in stillness, there's messages that want to come to you, like with this card too. Okay. Past life. So definitely, I feel like emphasis on if someone or something or some sort of connection feels very familiar in this life, it could be that this is not you guys' first time having an experience together, and that too could require a little more patience in terms of, okay, if we didn't really sort it out the first time, you know, maybe this is the second time when we might need just a little more patience, a little more attention to detail and stuff like that. Okay. And lastly, get grounded. We have the anchor. So definitely emphasis on grounding. And it's the number 22, which is the number of the master builder and manifestation and things like that. So I think that once you get grounded, you'll see that you'll be able to manifest even more and even more clear also. So I just want to read from this book to see what the grounded card means. I feel like I'm drawn to do it, especially too, you said teal earlier, like, and that was like the only kind of random color in this card. I
It's
think
completely
it's teal.
teal.
Right. Okay. So I feel like it's definitely some sort of message. So it says, have you been feeling spacey, confused, or unable to focus? Drawing this card means your energy is scattered or you are not fully connected to your body. Time to reconnect with your physical body and its connection to earth. Meditation, being outdoors, movement, and root vegetables can all help you feel more grounded.
Yes.
Oh, all right. So the last one is the bonus card, which is the current energy of your home. We are spending so much time at home. So I think it's like super important to kind of throw that in the mix, you know, just to see what energies are, you know, not out there, but in there.
Yeah.
So let's see what comes up for the current energies of your home. This is for Daisy, November 15th. Shuffle. Okay, so we have gifts, joy guides. So it's so ironic because the holidays, so you guys may have a little holiday energy. I know like sometimes like you may not celebrate Christmas per se, but just joyful, gifting, loving kind of vibes or something like that, or at least desiring for that to be the case. And just a bringing together, like maybe if things were off a little bit, this time could be making things feel a little better, kind of thing. Okay, then we have intuition and inner child. If there's children in the home, there could be not necessarily projection, but like triggers almost to your own things that need to be healed, could be coming up in exchange. Like I know it's like a lot of one-on-one energy, like parents have to be teachers, they have to be a guidance counselor, all sort of stuff. But just kind of almost reminding you of certain things of yourself, or having you revisit things or put into place stuff that you learned as a child, or did rather it been a different way or something like that. Okay, and I'm actually going to read from the book to see what it comes up with this card, but the last one, it says judgment and higher self. Okay, so definitely I feel like it could be like a power struggle, maybe knowing if something is challenging, choosing to operate from the higher self instead of putting everything and everyone or yourself under a scope, like looking deeply or magnifying problems, making things bigger than they have to be. Like that could be being overcome, or it could be a version of the challenge that's being presented at the time. Okay. And I feel like, because I feel like the gifts card is confirming the now, the season, the like, okay, this is where we are, like giving a confirmation that the rest of the cards will follow because this is coming up, know. And to knowing that the togetherness is the real gift of the season more than anything. So to not feel pressured to go above and beyond materially, because there's so much gift in one another.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah. That's it. That's all reading.
I just want to say I've been like purely quiet because I've been holding on for dear life to my chest and holding back tears, to be honest. And I did break a little bit when you confirmed to me that I am very protected by several. It's something that is very huge to me to always receive that message as confirmation, that I always just kind of wonder, like, oh, I haven't dreamed you in a long time, or you haven't come to me. And even just like, just with so much transition, I just always want to believe that I am being protected. There's so much that you read, that spirit sent, that hit right on the nose. I'm like shaking as I'm speaking it right now, because I knew what this was going to be. I just didn't know it was going to be like this, if that makes sense. And Starr was able to see my facial expressions in a lot of these instances. And it was like for 2.5 seconds, I was completely just like shocked. I had to like lower my face in one. I had to cover my mouth in one. I held onto my chest. There was a lot of messaging that I needed today with this.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you were able to receive things that you needed. That's always the intention.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
That's so great.
I actually wrote something the other day, and I was telling someone, and I decided to put it as part of my Soulage series on my highlights in my IG story. And I was telling the person that it's about realizing that someone just does it. There's no value of them towards me. And it's crazy because that was one of those messages today, and realizing that it's not about, oh, well, that person's fucked up. No, and realizing that it's more so realizing what I need, what is important to me, like really digging deep into that part. I'm going to have to listen to this again and I will. We're going to go right into the third and last segment of the show. And this is called the Overdose. And I've recently revamped this. This is usually the segment where we go on a raw rant on some shit that we're pissed about. But we also have an opportunity to just, rant and rave on something that makes us happy, or we're joyful about, or, if there's an overwhelming feeling, right? And so I just want to say one word and we could just shine light on it. I know everybody throws it around, but I'm very big on this, which is so crazy that a lot of the messaging gave me this today. And it is manifestation. That word. And
Wow.
I could sit here and say over and over again how important manifestation is, because it is.
Mhm.
I heard a book on Audible. Yeah, I believe this one was called Manifest Now.
A huge fan of manifesting. Like I always consider and refer to myself as a co-creator. Like I
Mm-hmm.
try to embrace that energy because I believe we are all here co-creating with the universe or God, whatever you want to call, but something outside of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some sort of exchange, as above, so below, so to say, as within, so without.
Right.
So, huge fan of that part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's exactly what I want to give some light to. The importance of it, the importance of manifestations. One of the things I took from Manifest Now, and just like, in shifting the way I
Yes.
live, and what I
Mm,
say to myself, and I say in my home, and I say out loud. It's very much so speaking in the now, like as if what I want to manifest for myself is happening now, making it real.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I wanted to shine light on that, even from your perspective, just as leave it as a, take it as a token, take it as a take that
Mhm.
part as her, at start reading you a little card for a second of
Right.
how, of what the importance is with the manifestations, because I feel like sometimes people will think like, oh, I don't know if that's true, or like that's not gonna,
Right.
it's not gonna work. But I
Mm-hmm.
do feel and I do believe that it
Mm-hmm.
does, when you continue to manifest
Mm-hmm.
things to for yourself, for your home, for your being. I
Yes.
do believe it does happen.
Yep.
So if you could just share your thoughts.
So biggest, most important part of that is what I would say to anyone who's like a little sketchy about manifesting or simply is unsure what it even means. I feel like I would say create or co-create your life where one will be created for you. So
Mm,
you choose.
yeah.
I think that's the stronger, that's the start. That's one. Two, um, nothing will manifest if you don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe that it can be real, and so it is. I like to end all of my prayers and manifestations with "and so it is." I think it's a really powerful, like your magic wand almost, and your words are literally spelling. Your words are magic. um every you speak, what's it's like a maybe a biblical quote or something. I don't really know the Bible, so I might butcher it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like the power of life and death are in the tongue or something like that. And that's your word is literally, how somebody say word is bond. It's like your word is your wand. Like
Mm.
it's literally your word is your wand. So um, just really be mindful, be present of what you're saying and what you're thinking. Even if it's like, oh, you're so stupid. But I try to be conscious and mindful of being like, even how I speak to other people. If I'm playing with somebody, you want to speak life. Like I literally have a speak life tattoo, like right here. So you try to just speak life into everything, into yourself, into others, and literally believing that you already have it, or already belongs to you, rightfully so, and you're just getting to it. It just hasn't manifested in the physical, but you already have spiritual ownership of the things that you want that are for you
Mm-hmm.
and best for you and for the good of everybody involved. But things, it happens. It's real. It's been so many different things, from vision boards to conversations, just the smallest things, which you be like, I can't believe it. But that's why you have to believe. You need moments like that to know that anything is possible. You
Yeah.
can have whatever you want, whatever you want. All you have to do is believe that you really can have it,
Oh.
and it'll come to you.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's powerful. It's so crazy. Yeah. So that's what I definitely, um, would want to say, and just emphasizing intention. Do everything is so funny, like the Solange songs. Do nothing without intention, from that album. But it's so real. Even if, like, for instance, how we were talking about in your reading with working on receiving, I would even start using my receiving hand when I take things from people
Okay.
to practice the art. You know what I'm saying? Always be intentional in everything that you do. And the intention comes a lot from stillness and practice. Like you have to have conscious breathing and be grounded in order to operate from your best self. I find when I'm not grounded, or I'm not taking a moment or taking a breath, my decisions are more scattered and not really in alignment, you know. So I think that this being such an interesting year, and who knows what 2021 is going to look like, I would definitely also just advise anybody who's like struggling with the stillness that life is presenting right now to just embrace it. It's definitely a gift that you can incorporate to practice that can lead you to manifesting for sure.
I like this. I like this.
Yes, yes. So that's definitely my take.
Oh, okay. I want to thank you formally for doing this with me, doing this for me, being receptive to this moment, something that you said over and over. You've never done this, and you took a
Right.
chance on doing it for me, and for also setting a very safe and comfortable space for me to be able to even remotely receive today's messages. Because,
Yeah.
as you know, I was nervous, I was very scared,
Right.
but I just
Mm-hmm.
knew from deep within to the messaging of my intuition, I needed this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yep.
knew I needed this. For
Yep.
quite some time I've been thinking of this, and maybe I've been even sort of manifesting it. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and I'm glad it happened now. Timing is everything. I've been just saying it. Timing is everything. Time is of the essence. And just like this was perfect. This was perfect now with so much that happens on a daily basis. On a Tuesday it's one thing, on a Wednesday is another. And
Yep.
I think in a sense, even some of the messaging you sent today, I'm pretty sure a lot of people it could resonate with them, and it could definitely say, well, you know
Right. Right.
what, maybe I needed to hear this today. Maybe this was also a message for
Right.
me from
Exactly.
wherever I am,
Mm-hmm.
and I hope that's exactly what's going to happen. Um, with not just me when I hear back to this, but also with anyone who tunes in and listens to these messages today.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Would
Definitely.
you like to tell my listeners where they can find you on social media, what type of services you offer?
Okay, yes. First, thank you for having me. It's genuinely my pleasure. This is, I always say, this is my real job. Like my other job pays the bills, but I really am very passionate about this work. And really, the root is just helping people. So, my services, I am working on being like Daisy, y'all, with consistency. I told her I admire her consistency, her commitment. I've chosen commitment as my word of the year for my birthday. It passed in October. And that was my decision that commitment was going to be a theme for me this year. So, but I plan on, which is my first time like vocalizing this, I'll be writing some horoscopes going forward. So, well, I guess they'll be like star scopes or whatever. I don't know, but I'll be writing those, so everyone can look forward to that. My Instagram handle is at star STARR .tarot. So star STARR, like in the sky with the extra R .tarot TAROT, and you can follow me there. Going forward, I will have some more videos and things. I think that it's just I'm learning, and this is just because this is such a transparent platform that I think I feel so comfortable to like vocalize this outside of when I've like shared it with my partner and stuff. I feel like Instagram has turned into, or just social media in general, but specifically Instagram, a place where sometimes it's hard to not feel like I'm selling myself
Mm,
versus a service. And I've never been like a fan of like, I don't know, like I like to just be genuine,
genuine.
and so I'm really honestly learning to adapt to how people receive things now. That is just the way, I can't be so stuck and stubborn, like, I just want to, like everything is not so intimate. I'm a fan of intimacy, and I think that social media is like not intimate at all. So I'm learning to adjust to that and incorporate my craft like consistently. So
Beautiful. Absolutely. That's amazing. And you guys already know I will always in the show notes include my guest handle for IG and social media and their website, of course. So I will definitely be linking that on the show notes.
awesome. Thank you.
So you guys could find Star. You guys could check out what her services are and what she has to offer. As you can see, she definitely, spirit spoke through Star today.
I just want to add that in. As far as my services, I do personal readings. on my website, and even on my personal page, you can like link, click the book now, or click the link in my bio, and it'll take you to my booking. And I do I Ching and tarot and oracle card readings. I Ching is another medium that I like to use. It's like an ancient Asian system where you use coins to get advice. So I like to give that reading for people who just don't know what direction to go in. And then you can choose like a loving lovers reading, you know, like for relationships and stuff. I have a self-care spread. I have like a simple spread, which is just like touching base on your mind, body, and spirit. That one's called Star Spread. I named that after me on my birthday. It was a birthday special, but then people liked it, so I just kept it up there. So now you can book that. Yeah, those are all of the services.
Beautiful.
I just had to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
No, awesome. Thank you again, Starr. I really appreciate this moment with you. And this ain't gonna be the first time I come to Starr for anything. I just hope y'all know that.
So
I don't know if I'll let
yes.
y'all join me on the next one, but
Right, the next one might have to be more private.
yes, it's gonna be more private.
This was a great icebreaker for
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Too. So
Absolutely.
I'm really glad
It
that we
was.
did this. It's
Yes.
awesome.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. You guys already know it's another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. I am your host, Misty, and you guys will tune in next week. Bye. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we are streaming on all platforms. Check us out on Apple and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Now let's talk about it.